According to new reports, they've been active on the trade market and might be going after a 3-and-D proven reliable backcourt option to pair with Marcus Smart. That player being Jrue Holiday, a guy that was recently traded to the Portland Trail Blazers, obviously coming from the Boston Celtics, I guess getting retraded back to Portland, which he was traded to and then traded to Boston a couple of years ago, and the Lakers apparently might have interest. This coming from Grant Afseth of the Fast Break Journal, being a Dallas Mavericks supporter, so it is a little bit weird here, but other reports confirm that the Lakers and Blazers may have been talking. Brett Siegel linked them earlier last week, other reports saying that they have had trade talks and that there is a good relationship between Rob Pelinka and Portland general manager Joe Cronin. So whether or not this turns out to be true or not, there is some reports linking it and there is something backing it up here. So with that in mind here, is Jrue Holiday a good trade target for their team? Is he a realistic trade target for their team? And would he be worth the price tag for him or the potential price tag for him? We'll talk about that and try to break it all down here. And well, to begin, I think we all know about Jrue Holiday. Obviously one of the best backcourt defenders of the past decade now, if not even a bit longer than that. Having a 15-year NBA career at this point, now being 35 years old, and although is still very productive, does have a pretty big contract that comes with that age. Under contract until the 2027-28 NBA season, being paid roughly $32 million per year up until that point, the final year of that contract being owed $37.2 million, so definitely a pretty hefty for an aging guard who again is still very productive, coming off a season of averaging 11 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game, over 1 steal per game, still being a top 5 perimeter defender in the entire NBA, at least top 10 at the bare minimum, shooting roughly 44% from the field, 35.3% from 3, being a 37% career 3-point shooter, still a very good two-way 3-and-D option, whatever you want to call it, though again the price that would come with him might be up for debate here. And if we're talking about making a trade for him and with the Lakers trade assets, it might include something like Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and Maxi Kleber to make the money work, though even that I might be a bit questionable about and trading Hachimura to get him. You know, I'd probably rather do a trade package like Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, unfortunately Jared Vanderbilt as I like him, but if they can get rid of the contract that is kind of a negative contract, you know, I don't like to trade a player at their absolute lowest trade value, but if we're trading for a guy like Jrue Holiday that has a pretty big contract of his own here, albeit would be a pretty good fit for their team, then I might look to trade Jared Vanderbilt, especially swapping a defensive-minded player for a defensive-minded player, rather than trading Rui Hachimura. So with that in mind here, and if the Lakers are adamant about trading for him for whatever reason I guess, then I would definitely try to expand the trade here, getting a bit more creative to address not only a defensive need for their team, but maybe a more specific defensive need for their team. That being a defensive-minded wing player that can take on some bigger matchups, which neither really Jrue Holiday or Marcus Smart can do. Yes, they're both terrific and elite defenders at that, but more so point of attack defenders that defend 1 through 3 at the most, not really pushing it to bigger wings and not really what they do on defense. Though that's not the case for a guy like Matisse Thybulle. He could do that, and that would actually be a direct answer to their last remaining need. That being a 3-and-D wing that could directly fill that need either off their bench or in their starting lineup. And for that kind of trade, I would definitely be willing to offer a different kind of trade package and a bit more trade assets. I'd offer something like Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, or Jared Vanderbilt, then with Dalton Connect and potentially offering that for both Jrue Holiday and Matisse Thybulle. You know, at that point, I wouldn't love to offer the 2031 first-round draft pick. I imagine they'd probably try to demand it and try to get it here, but I'd be pretty stingy about it. Already offering Rui Hachimura and Dalton Connect, I think that's a decent trade package. Definitely would throw in a first-round draft pick swap, even 2 of them. Their second-round draft pick, but I'd really try to hold out on that 2031 first-round draft pick as it's our only tradable first-round draft pick. However, trade package aside here, I'm not really sure how much I buy the trade reports about Jrue Holiday. Yes, I think he'd be a decent fit, but if the other reports saying that the Lakers are kind of trying to plan for their future and put guys around Luka Doncic that fit his timeline and not really kind of subtract from that with bad contracts in the future, I'm not sure that Jrue Holiday would be at the top of their priority list, kind of like this report makes it seem like he is. Again, I think he might be a good fit for them. I wouldn't doubt if they have some minor interest in it and might be trying to target him maybe with a different player, but I'm not sure they're really prioritizing him that much like this report's kind of making it out to be. You know, again, I think for the right price, I'd do it, and especially if we're talking about Matisse Thybulle with them, then maybe if the price is right, go ahead and do it, but again, not sure he's their top priority. I'm not sure he'd be my top priority. There's definitely other trade targets I'd put above him for both the price that he commands, the age that he's at, and the timeline that he wouldn't quite fit with Luka Doncic. I'm not sure I'd put him at the top of my list, and I don't think the Lakers are either. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.